Welcome to Cloud and Clear, the podcast by SADA for innovative business leaders and technology enthusiasts, where we explore how Google Cloud is transforming the industry and what that means to you. Now, here's your host, Narine Galstian.
Welcome, everyone, to this week's Cloud and Clear. I'm excited to take over Tony Safoyan as your host today. This week, we have as our guest, Kayla Spiess, as the head of partner marketing for Google Cloud Americas. So welcome, Kayla, and thank you so much for joining us today. We've met on a few occasions and have had great conversations, but I'm looking forward to sharing some of your expertise and insights into the partner marketing ecosystem at Google Cloud and in general, helping all partners in the cloud ecosystem expand and grow their business. So before we get started and diving deep, I'd love for you to take a few minutes and telling us a little bit about your background and the journey that led to this role.
Thank you so much, Narine, for having me. And it's always great to connect with you. So thanks for the time. So my journey, I think, was a bit of a roundabout in how I got here. And I think we should just sort of take it from the top. The few things I would say is that my journey is always centered around marketing and partner or alliance. And so that's a consistent story rhythm here. But I would say I sort of fell into technology, not the typical path. My degree in school was actually in geography and environmental studies, and not in the technology realm whatsoever. In fact, many friends of mine, even to date, still laugh that I work in technology. And here's the thing, you can grow the skill set, right? So that has been a saving grace for me. Where I started was effectively in PR and media relations. I had this kind of inflection point after college of what do I do next? And I was studying for law school, which seems like it would have been a miss at the time. And I took a plunge. And a friend of mine had just completed a degree in public relations. And I said, what's that? And I got excited and I looked into it and I threw my hat into the ring. And that was the beginning of my exciting journey into really marketing and communications and PR. So I started there and I ended up working at this nonprofit environmental group to sort of start out my career because I was passionate about blending these two disciplines together, right? This passion I had for the environment and geography and pulling in what I thought was, something that I could really, cling to. And then also pairing that with the PR opportunity that we had. And that was a great gig. And then I had to move. So it all, it's happenstance, right? So I had to move and I was looking for a new job and I found this opportunity with a company that's a technology company. And they hired me for PR, which I air quote still to this day because I didn't do anything that even sounded like PR for, with them. And I was thrust into technology at that point. I ran this innovation center that they hosted and ran outside the University of Waterloo in Canada, along with Microsoft. And I hosted campus events and programming. And I had to work really, really hard to increase the profile of our firm's brand on campus. It was a really cool opportunity. And very soon the organization decided it made more sense to have me lead marketing in that organization. And so I pivoted. And that was about a 10-year journey with this organization that really, crafted so much of my experience in technology and marketing. In that organization, I ran marketing. I built up their partner strategy. I was responsible for everything from, the intranet, which was a thing of the times, which we all, know and love as marketers. And then, moved into more of building their partner brand and alliance strategy. And that's sort of when I felt like I had done it all there and it was time to try something new. Following that, I decided I needed a big company experience, right? This was sort of a smaller firm, which I completely adore. I adore organizations of that sort of size. They're nimble, they're swift. You make decisions every single day. And I know you know what that feels like, right? Yeah. There's not a day that goes by. You're not, exactly. And you're not making a tough decision or even just a decision. I would make multiple decisions every hour, right, about something. And that was awesome. But it was just time to see, what else was out there. So I joined Samsung and spent some time there. And I ran their alliance relationship with Microsoft. So spent some time on that side. And then I got really pulled back into the marketing and passion project that I have around startups. And I went to a smaller organization. I helped with some rebranding and partner strategy, and then Google called. So that's the quick version, if you will, through what's been going on, but always a passion for a partner, always a passion for marketing and strategy and comms. and really, entered Google in a partner development role. So working to sort of help our partners become up to speed with the ecosystem. And then this role, I feel, was written for me, and I couldn't have been more thrilled that I was able to assume the position in October of last year.
Well, I can't even imagine you as anything else but a marketer, honestly. So I'm thrilled that this journey has led you here, and we're super excited to be working with you. And I think one of the key things that I noticed immediately right off our first discussion at the Google Cloud Summit was that you knew exactly what you wanted to achieve in this new role. And you had done your homework, and you really had this infectious energy that you were bringing to this role that I hadn't seen before. And, if you could just kind of share a little bit about, how you envision this role to come to fruition. And now that you've been in it for some time, do you feel like you had a really good understanding of it? And what are the goals that you're ultimately, trying to reach?
Great questions. Best laid plans, right? Yes, a lot of it has come to fruition, and I still remember our first meeting as well. And thank you for that. So here's what I would say. What I wanted to do was make sure that we could really up-level the positioning of partner marketing and all the amazing, tremendous work that our partners are putting into their co-marketing strategies with Google Cloud across North America. And what that meant for me was two things, really. It meant making sure that our team, the partner marketing managers who represent and spend the most time with our partners, had a really good sense of how to help the partners grow their marketing strategy, were an extension to your team. They lended a hand. They could really help you define strong marketing practices and be successful there in your external outreach, all focused around demand and awareness. The second piece, super important and near and dear to my heart, is how are we your agent inside of Google Cloud, right? So how does my team understand deeply, like what motivates each and every single one of their partners so that they know the opportunities to plug you in to our activities? How are we finding new opportunities across all of our sub-regions to layer in your partner expertise, bring your speakers to bear, bring you more marketing moments with our mutual audiences? And so really the role did center around those two things. When I broke it down, of course, there's a lot more to it. But once I kind of got agreement that those are the two muscles we had to build up, also being those strong advocates for you externally and then internally as well, the plan kind of came together, right? So how I was able to work with our regional team, which is where my team is, where we sit. We sit under Adam Berlew, who runs all of the demand and awareness for Google Cloud on the marketing side. And that's pivotal because we are the demand engine of the organization. And so we have a seat at that table to make sure that our partners are plugged in to help and drive additional awareness and marketing across North America. And so really exciting connecting those two things together. The plan also consists of things like, new contests and opportunities to build more sort of, moments together, right? So how could we do things like blitz or call down days or...
we love contests.
It's not a contest, that's SADA, remember? So it's hugely important, and we thank you for that. But those things are important because it's helping us drive new behaviors, right? So if we need to focus on new things, how can we make it fun, right? We come to work with so much seriousness. How can we gamify? How can we make things fun? And how can we drive those right behaviors? And so it had to do with that as well. And then really just how we showed up and communicated with each other, right? I host a live call once a month, as you know, the marketing exchange. So marketers can come together and talk and learn from each other. And that's important to me, right? I want to make sure that I'm available myself and that my team is constantly showing up for our partners to deliver value. So it was a combination of all of those things, plan on a page. And I'm happy to report that a lot of it is still there. So maybe some of the tactics or the specifics have changed, but the spirit is there, very much alive and very much coming to life, even right now.
Well, we definitely feel it on our side as a partner. And, we're very vocal and very involved in a lot of the new initiatives and go-to-market plans. And so I certainly appreciate, your participation in all of that and really notice how you show up and your team follows that leadership. So that's awesome. Thank you for that. I think even in the current environment that we're in, it's even more important to be available to our teams and to, whether it's marketing or sales, and of course, to our partner teams, right? And, in the state of COVID, we've certainly had to adjust a lot of our go-to-market plans. So tell us a little bit about how, Google approached these changes, and from a partner marketing perspective, how you're trying to keep that momentum going.
That's great. So I think, you touched on it. There had to be changes, right? So, a plan laid once is never the final outcome, right? Let's put it that way. And that's okay, because we cannot become obsessed with our plans, right? We have to know that they're fluid. They're always going to evolve and change. They are living beings. And I think if we anchor on that principle, everything else is tolerable. So here's what I would say. The first thing that my team did was, like you mentioned, continue to show up. We had just gone into sort of the, stay at home, and I hosted a marketing exchange call. And I remember thinking the night before, like, is this the time? Should I do this call? Is this appropriate? And I struggled with it, to be honest. And then I decided that this was the absolute best thing I could do at this moment, was to show up. I welcomed everyone to my home. I was said, this is my home. Welcome to the, New York City. And that showing up was key. I think what I also did at that point, and my team really rallied around, was how do we help our partners pivot to digital? Digital is not easy, right? And our business has all been a lot around demand in front of a customer with events and in-person moments, and so much of all of our marketing rhythms. Though as marketers, we crave integrated campaigns, but what do people remember? The events, right? And so how do we help change that mindset? So my team, myself, I sat on many calls with partners on helping them repivot their plans, offering, another set of eyes to review something or give feedback. But a lot of it has just been, letting everyone know we are here, and I meant it. I had many partners take me up on the offer to spend time, and that was genuine. And I think that was the moment that we really started to show up. The trends we've been encouraging people to go towards is to sort of harness this digital moment. We have the right technology and tools in place that we use every day as we sit here and have a Meet interview. This is an appropriate platform to have the new roundtable or the executive moment, or really just important listening conversations with our customers. And so I think when we took a step back, it was, help the partners spend our time, give our expertise or just listening ear on how we could help them, and make recommendations and suggestions, and get everyone back to basics too, right? Like, this is the opportunity that we have right now, is to get back to what we really want as marketers, are integrated and, completely connected campaigns. Right. We can do that now in this moment, right? We don't have to rush to the next event and move on. We have a little bit of time. We can actually slow it down and pace. And I think that has been a huge message that we've been sharing as well in our own business, as well as with the partners. So hopefully you're feeling that too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we were, as you know, very quick to pivot.
Yes.
Maybe a little too quick. But, we are very agile in how we function. So we definitely embraced this, remote work environment, and came up with the cloud quarters fairly, quickly to create that hub for companies and customers who were not used to this work from home environment. Yeah. And while they had the tools, I think people didn't really understand the multiple ways that you can still connect and engage through, such as Google Meet or chat or some of the collaborative, tools we had. So we took a little bit of a, change management training, if you will, to get people back into that mode of, you can still develop relationships, across the miles, right? Through digital channels. And you have to show up, right? Yes. You still have to show up for your customers. You have to show up for your partners. And more importantly, you have to show up for your team.
Yes, absolutely.
Right? And for a lot of leaders, that was an adjustment point, is, I have regular meetings every Monday. How am I going to do this now? And it's like, well, just keep doing it online. You still need to do those, meetings, and you still need to show up for your team and create that collaborative feel from a digital perspective.
Absolutely. And Narine, don't you think it's interesting that it still feels like we're together, right? So I just, it's interesting. I don't feel void of some of the relationships. I don't feel like they're any less connected. It is nice to be in person, but I think what's really great is we're not rushing. We actually have had a time to sort of slow down and focus and reconnect with many people, including our partners and our customers, right? And I think that's the really exciting moment that we have right now. And that's, how I always say ABM, always be marketing, but this is like a lesson for all of us, right? It's like slow down and, listen to your customer and remember to reconnect with your partners and just take that time, because we don't have to rush to the next thing. Even just the lack of travel, I feel like I'm more available to people.
So much time, right? When you don't have to fly all over the place from one event to the next.
Absolutely.
But I think that also the other real key component is, I connect with my team on a daily Scrum call, and we talk about, what we have priorities for that day, for that week, and challenges we're addressing. But we're trying to also do this with our customers too, and having a regular cadence of calls, so that you do feel that connection and you're not dependent on just email, right? Yeah. So I think everyone's slowly adjusting to that scenario more and more, and understanding how important it is. From the marketing side, I think it's allowed us to really understand that funnel a little bit more, right? So that we're able to really understand how the buyer journey has changed, or maybe it wasn't changed, and maybe it was just that we took this one element out and it really made everyone's behaviors align differently. And so there's still so much learnings through this experience of how to really drive engagement and meet the needs of our customers and, audiences when you take out one element of your marketing strategy.
Yes.
Just depends.
Yes. And then I think you said something really great too. It's like, we need to meet them where they are, right? This is the fact. We need to now meet our customers where they are in their journey, and our prospects where they are in the journey. And without that key tactic we would have relied on, now we have to be a lot more innovative in many ways, right? Of how we're providing value and service to them as well. So it's been very interesting. And I think one of the pieces of advice we've been, talking about internally and sharing with partners is, take the time to fine tune your processes right now. This is the opportunity. No one likes to spring clean, but now's the time to sort of do it, right? It's the time to kind of look at and question things. What are the SLAs we have with a lead handoff between teams? What makes it qualified, and who runs this through the cycle? Just all of those touch points and an opportunity. We can now take a bit of a moment to look at those and question things and make tweaks, because we haven't had to be, though we're still running at a fast pace, and we all know that. Some days. But what is interesting is that we do have a little bit more time to question. And I think that's been very interesting when you can start looking at that and sort of questioning the why you were doing things, and then the how you can evolve those things now. Yeah.
And really taking a look at your communication strategy as a whole, right? And how do you connect, without the sell mindset, right? Yes. And I love the approach that Google, took right off the bat is, we're here to serve, not to sell. And how do we, adjust our communication at this pivotal time to really serve the community? That's certainly how Cloud Quarters from our side was born, and providing those resources, ungated resources of, here's how you can get your company up and running and have business continuity. Tell me a little bit about how kind of Google has adjusted to that serving and not just selling perspective, while still obviously having, the experience from the salesperson's perspective, not stop of, I have targets to meet. So how do you continue that?
I think it's a delicate dance, right? Because you need to be again conscious of the message and the when it's delivered and the how it's delivered and all of that. And so it is a delicate dance. But what it does mean is you get to connect with the individual a lot more. That's what's happening right now. And the relationship that you have with your sales team, or that we have, or that I have with many partners, and these relationships that we have, we're going to remember these moments where we got each other through it, and we provided what I call is like secondary currency. Secondary currency is my time, it's your time, it's it's a listening ear, it's feedback on something, it's a new piece of collateral that they didn't know, or connecting them with a new peer. Like, there is so much that we can do along these lines of serving that is hugely impactful. And those are the memorable moments, right? These are how you actually build authentic relationships. Right. And I think that that's sort of a guiding principle, and everyone does believe it, right? And it's an authenticity that's important. And that's where you're going to figure out how you can help your customers next. And so I really think it does come down to that.
I think this experience has also opened up people's lives a bit more. Well, I've certainly gotten to know people on a personal level a lot more than I, had previously, because now you're in their homes, and their children are part of the background, and pets are included. And we definitely are sharing a commonality of like, how are you spending your time, now that you're home?
What are your home recipes now?
What are your home recipes? And what's your cocktail of choice? So it's certainly, I think, made relationships a lot more personal, even though you're not in person with them,
exactly,
like it used to be. So I think it's definitely changed relationships for the better.
I agree. We're building solid foundations now. Yep.
Yeah. So partner ecosystem is growing like crazy at Google. You're trying to grow the partners you have and then bring on new partners. Now that you've kind of had, several months or almost a year under your belt, tell me a little bit about, what advice you can give to partners who are trying to expand and grow into other solutions in the Google ecosystem. How are they, trying to expand their services to align with Google solutions pillars? Any advice you can give there?
I think the best advice I can give there is read everything. This is the one thing that I would really stress, right? We do put a lot of collateral and content and assets in the hands of our partners. If you've ever met me, I talk about, Partner Advantage Portal and the Partner Marketing Studio, because it really has so many incredible assets to help a partner understand how they can round out their solution offering, how they can speak in the same tone that motivates our sales teams, or how they can really align to customer needs in the market, right? So my truthful guidance is honestly just go be a sponge. So spend time.
There is a lot of information. Yes.
I know. You can pick and choose. You can create a learning schedule for yourself, if you will. But honestly, it's absorbed, because there's a lot of really amazing content out there. There's been a lot of great blog content put forward in the last little while. The signs are there on where we're going and what we're looking at. And, the partners have the opportunity to take that and sort of transform as well. So honestly, the best advice I can say is take advantage of all the resources, join the marketing exchange, reach out to another partner, right? So, there's actually a lot to give in partner to partner interactions. And I'm really big on this. As you know, the forum I host is open. I ask partners to share with each other. And what's been so rewarding to see is that now I have a list of people that want to share their best practices with each other. And so, half of it is that it's learn, listen, absorb, and show up, right? Because that's where the best nuggets of information come from. That's where, you meet a new FSR and FSM that you're like, yes, I'm going to get behind that. And this is going to be my pillar and anchor. So, I don't think my principles have changed on this. I honestly be a sponge. If you can continue to be a sponge, absorb what you can, make it your own, and figure out what makes the most sense for your business. Don't put yourself in unnatural positions. What's really important is understand, the value proposition that your organization has,
right?
And then how that offering can evolve into other markets or in other, industry or, other solution pillars, right? And it's okay to do one or two. It's okay.
You can do five,
you can do one or two. It's okay. One of the things I would also encourage is just to keep focused and prioritize, because, now is the time where we could get into cycles. and, just remain course, right? Remain course, stay focused on your core activities and your core deliverables, and bring things on as it makes the most sense for your business. But my advice is always the same, take advantage of all the great stuff that we have for you. Book time with us, spend time with your partner marketing, manager, and just continue to show up.
Yeah, there certainly is, a lot of information at Partner Advantage. We're in there regularly, as you know, as well as Partner Studio, and we've tested out several of the campaigns, and then realized we needed to make adjustments that were suitable for us. So I think that's the key, is taking the content, learning from it, testing it, and then making the necessary adjustments and pivots to fit your own value add that you bring to the market. And that's really, really important to identify, because as you said, we need to prioritize, and you can't do all 8 things or 5 things really well. And so where are you going to really excel at the top 3 or the top 2? And we're trying to get better at identifying those priorities ourselves as we expand and grow our team, both from engineering and sales as well as marketing, and really from a regional marketing perspective, even diving deeper as to which solutions are important in what region.
Very, very clever. That's smart precision marketing, and definitely something we're sort of pivoting towards as well, right? Is right message, right time, precise for that audience, precise for that market. So that's very, very smart strategy. And I think, Narine, you guys know this very well, right? Like, you build a brand, you've built a partner brand. It's also something I'm incredibly passionate about, is like maintaining and owning that partner brand. It's not just the marketing team's job, it's everybody's job, right? But if you have those key pillars where you want to be, you're known for these 3 things, always call us because of this. You're still going to get calls for things that aren't that, and that's okay. You can still do those, but you have those anchor points of where your brand's North Star is. And that's the must win, always win. And you're going to get other business from that as well, because you guys deliver. So again, and you guys do a great job on it. Keep that sanctity of your brand, right? Because that is what continues to open up more doors for you as well.
Credibility has to be there with the brand, so people want to work with you. And I think we've really worked hard at establishing that trust and credibility that we will deliver. And if we can't, we will find a way, and we will be honest about it,
Yeah, absolutely. That's a growth. That's a huge growth thing though. So well done, you guys. It's hard sometimes to say no.
We're learning.
We're all a work in progress. It's okay.
Right. And a big part of it is the culture, right, that you establish within the organization, as well as what you represent outside of your organization. There's certainly always talk about the googly culture and what that means. I think I'd love to hear it from your perspective, as in, how do you establish a culture within your team outside of the overall arching Google culture as an organization, and really your leadership style that's contributed to that culture in your team?
Yeah, thank you for that. Definitely something I'm passionate about. I actually asked my team, how would you define, some of my leadership styles and principles, and, what feedback would you have for me? So that was interesting. I think what's really great, or, the consistency, is that I see myself as a coach, right? So my leadership style is to coach and inspire. And, you mentioned at the beginning, there's an energy. This energy, you can call me at whatever time at night and in the morning. This is me. This is the spirit I bring to things, and there's an authenticity of that. And I bring that to my leadership style, right? I'm direct if I have to be, and I'm always your coach, and I'm always your cheerleader. And so that is really, I think, the cornerstone of my leadership style, that I can, coach and inspire and encourage my team to take those sort of steps, and also always be their biggest fan. That is just, table stakes for me. The thing I would say about this style and how this coaching, my team said something very interesting to me when I was asking about this question. And it was, I push them. And this is very interesting, right? Because a lot of folks, and I know I do this, so this is good. But a lot of times in leadership, you go to someone who's good at something and you let them do that, and you let them do that. I have this sort of philosophy for myself as well about comfort zone. And if you're in a comfort zone too long, you are not learning and you are not stretching and you are not growing. And when your role or your responsibilities become, you can do them in your sleep, it's time for a change. And so anytime someone in my team gets really, really good at something, that's awesome. We celebrate that. And then I find them something else to do. Really, those are the sort of things in my leadership style. And it's like that uncomfort. I love that. I want them to feel like it's okay. And it's okay to sort of feel like this isn't right. And the reason it doesn't feel right is not that they don't know how to do it. It's that the muscle hasn't been developed yet. And so that to me is that is where I'm really working with my team. And I'm so grateful that they trust me enough to, take all those leaps. But, at the end of the day, I'm there to sort of support them. I think that's core to to the culture as well. And I think too, what's been really interesting for me, Narine, you were talking about your team and spending time, is I've put a lot of structure and focus. Like my team knows what to get excited about, where they need to show up for the partners. And to your point, like I'm mirroring, I'm doing that as well. I'm showing up. I'm always available as much as I humanly can be. And there's an authenticity to that. And my team is also doing the same thing. We have a structure of our rhythm of the week now. And, sort of Monday is like our whole team meeting, business, review the priorities, review any pass downs that are important. And we're off to the races. What we put in place on Thursday is just team fun. So it is pointless. It is absolutely mindless. I will not let anyone talk about work. In fact, I'm going to exit this meeting and it's team time on Thursday. And what's great about that is that I had a distributed team. We never sat together anyways, right? Half of my team is on the West Coast and I'm in New York and, we have people in Canada and we weren't together. So what was really clear to the team and to me was like, this is new, but this is amazing. So we've created a new spirit in the team. We get together, we share, we laugh about whatever bad shows we're watching or, the closing hallmark. And this is something I'm really proud of in the last little while is we do this Friday email. I send it out every Friday around the same time. It has the same title and says, it's Friday, read me thoroughly. And then it kind of goes through like some findings of the week and things I'm really proud of the team for and opportunities where we showed up. And then I have them all reply all with what they accomplished that week, what they're looking at doing for next week in a priority order, and any red flags. And what's awesome is they reply all. And so you have everybody coming on top and then we crowdsource answers. It's so cool. And again, we've just created this spirit and rhythm on the team. And I'm really just proud of how everyone's coming together. So it's, the longer answer, but I think it's just authenticity as well. And we're kind of all just sort of, we're gelling and collaborating, and it's a lot easier to do that.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Certainly resonates on our side. I've been integrating happy hours and coffee breaks and having that, chit chat and just venting calls, as I like to call it, because I think people need that time to vent. Right. And be able to let out the frustrations of the week and then have a little humor, have a little fun and, poke fun at each other and talk about, Tiger King and other shows that people are grabbing onto for whatever reason. But I think the importance of being authentic and personal is really key during this time. And as leaders, we have to show up, we have to be part of that discussion, and we have to roll up our sleeves and dig deep as well into some of those, challenging discussions and helping and coaching and mentoring through the pivoting process. So I love that we're aligned on that. And thank you so much for being an advocate of SADA and marketing in general. I always say that sometimes as marketers, we're the worst at promoting our own brands.
Yes.
And to get better at that and really talking about what we're bringing to the table and the contribution to the overall business continuity and business success. And a lot of the data helps in that and fine tuning that. So lots of work to still do. And I'm super excited for this next new norm as we're trying to establish in the upcoming months with so much unknowns. Is there any parting words and advice of, kind of how to take it to the next level and continue the momentum with so much unknown of what's going to happen?
Mhm. I think, we can't get spun around what we don't know, right? But what we do know is, especially if we think about it as marketers and we think about our individual brands, we know our value proposition, right? We know how to land that. We know how to continue to show up for our teams. We know how to support each other. These are the things we need to control and we can control. And those are the things we need to be focused on. I also think, again, prioritize, because we can get spun around. And now is the opportunity to do the marketing that we all want to do, right? Pure integrated digital campaigns. You just know the marketers are just, yes, we need to be behind that. And I just encourage you to think like that. Continue to lean on each other, right? We're a community. Marketers are open to sharing. We have to learn from each other. We need to borrow with great affection for those other brands, right? So leverage the network, leverage each other, lean on each other, and just continue to show up and control the stuff that you can, which is your brand and your authenticity. That would be it.
Yeah, great advice. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. I value every minute that we spend together, even virtually, and look forward to meeting in person soon, and celebrating this amazing year that we're going to remember for a very long time.
You got it, Narine. You're definitely going to be someone I think about dearly when I think about this year. So thank you so much, and thank you to the SADA team for all your exceptional leadership and hard work. I know it's hard. Marketing can be the unsung heroes, but as we know, it's really pivotal, and we thank you for the hard work.
Thank you, everyone, for joining our podcast of Cloud and Clear. Have an amazing day.
Thank you for listening to Cloud and Clear. Check the show notes for links to this week's topics. And don't forget to connect with us on Twitter @Cloud&Clear and our website, sada.com. Be sure to rate and review the show on your favorite podcast app.